Sta già iniziando a farmi schifo sto gioco, ve lo dico. Adesso per l'ennesima volta, di nuovo lì in mezzo, col cazzo di pecorino di merda. Per l'ennesima volta.
Is that supposed to be a threat? Ow! Oh well, I tried the easy way. Now it's time for the hard way.
Cazzo di roba. Cazzo. Scendo. No, dopo l'ho fatto 10 volte, ho iniziato a fare qualcosa, alla fine non riuscivo più a farlo, morite tutti. Che cazzo. Secondo bug, questo è abbastanza invalidante. La CPU non ha retto e mi ha fatto uscire dall'applicazione. Bello schifo. Questo si sta combattendo un po'. Se solo lui. Beh sì. Faccio il giro intorno.
Hail Mary. Since you're always walking around the ponds here, did you notice a stray dog wandering about?
What? A dog? Do you think he came here to poach fish? Now sheep? Well, that would be another story.
And why did you specifically mention sheep?
I recall Siegfried, God rest his soul, always complaining about the wolves mauling his sheep.
And who might know more about that?
Ask the gamekeeper. He doesn't live far away, just across the pond towards the castle. If there's anyone who knows about those furry pikes, it's him.
Thanks. I'll try and ask him. Otherwise, you haven't heard any talk of stray dogs around here, have you?
No, if it doesn't have fins and scales, I'm not interested in it. Though one night I was way down on the southern end of Rock Tower Pond, the big one, I've a spot there where I catch catfish. Well, I'm fishing, and all of a sudden I hear howling. Not just any old howling, mind you. There must have been at least 50 of them howling in the woods. A noise like an avalanche. I ran straight home and haven't been back there since.
Such a large pack.
Farewell.
To get the gamekeeper home before I start asking questions.
Ragazzo, trovo Che faccio? Faccio schifo.
God grant you health.
Si è avuto da salvare. Che lunga strada. Cercheremo di arrivare fino a lì.
Bloody deep.
Però sa nuotare sto coglione. Si sa mancare a nuotare. Cazzo di... Già alle 9. Ci sta.
Just a bit more.
No, non so che dici.
Greetings.
Un cazzo.
Greetings.
Ever was. I hear he's settled in Kuttenberg, and they can't praise him high enough in the city. He kicked out all the dishonest officials and got rid of all the murderers and thieves. And they say they now mine silver. They started paving the streets with it. That would never
Listen, Proshak. Those Zheliovites are plotting something against you.
What? Bloody hell.
Old Olbram offered me some groschen to steal your maypole.
Damn it. That bitter old fool just won't give up. As if it wasn't enough that we fairly and honourably took theirs, and then fairly and honourably kicked their asses when they tried to take ours. It's a tradition. That's just how it goes. But for him to send some bloody outsider like that...
Hey, this bloody outsider just did you a favour and told you everything, though he didn't have to.
Aye, he did. I can clearly see he's an honest bloke, and we value honesty around here.
Thanks. I see the people from Takov are honest too.
That we are. Speaking of which, I reckon it would be fair to repay Olbram in kind. Let me know if you're interested. I came up with a nice little pastime that's sure to make Olbram shit himself.
So what should I do to the Zheliovites?
Listen up then. Old Olbram, the owner of the biggest plot of land in Zheliov, has this beautiful bull. White as snow he is, the finest animal far and wide. Obviously, he's very proud of it. Very protective too. Now I mean you, will give his beautiful snow-white bull a nice new coat of paint. Olbram is going to lose his mind. Simple, right?
Well, not really.
All right, it's a little complicated, but I'm sure you'll manage. First, we have to get some paint. I don't reckon we'll be able to get any here in the village, but you can try and ask Bartoszek, the tailor in Trotskovitz. I hear he dyes his own fabric. And after that, we'll have to make sure the bull stays still while you're painting it. Try asking Radovan, the local blacksmith. I hear he can make some kind of sleeping potion. If you pour it in the bull's water trough, I'm sure it'll do the trick. But watch out. That beast is enormous. You'd better put at least 3 doses of the potion in there.
All right then. Olbram's bull will be getting a new coat of paint.
Olbram's going to lose his mind. I can't wait. And remember, it's supposed to be a joke. If you get caught or something goes wrong, the whole thing will be ruined.
Right. So I need paint, sleeping potions, and to not get caught. Why do you and the Zheliov lot hate each other so much, anyway?
It's their fault. They keep playing tricks on us. Olbram's the worst of them all. The nasty old codger. He's always coming up with ways to mess with us. He's the one that stole our pasture.
What pasture did they steal from you?
The one that stretches from the orchard behind the Takov down to the gamekeeper's lodge. It's been ours since time immemorial, but the Zheliovites took it from us.
And how did they take it from you? You can't exactly stuff a pasture in your purse and walk away with it.
Save the jokes, will you? This is fucking serious. There's a tree down by the gamekeeper's lodge that marks the edge of our land. My father, God rest his soul, was there when they agreed on it. He got a proper arse-kicking so he'd remember it. And remember it he did. But then fucking Olbram came along, claiming it was the other way round. And that pasture belonged to Zheliov.
Well, can't you all just reach some kind of agreement?
Do you think we haven't tried? But there's no talking to the Zheliovites. Year after year we meet in that pasture. I tell it like it was, but Olbram always starts spewing his lies. Then we end up arguing until the sun sets. And when the Zheliovites are at wit's end, they come at us. And nothing ever gets solved. We managed to convince them to at least give us back half the pasture. But I know the whole bloody thing belongs to us. We can't just leave things like this.
Have you tried asking Lord von Burgov for help?
Of course, but he'd have none of it. He said it's up to the Trotskovitz bailiff to sort it out. But the bailiff couldn't care less. He said we should deal with Olbram ourselves, or he'll have us caned and clapped in the pillory.
What's new around here?
You should pay a visit to Old Mouth sometime. He's our local storyteller, you know. He could tell you all sorts of interesting things. But only if you bring him some liquor. Don't forget, I have some here to sell, if you want. And that's all I'd say.
Sounds interesting. Thank you, innkeeper.
Farewell.
That's what I'm talking about, damn it. That's how you
Greetings to you.
Good evening. What do you need, lad?
People call you the Mouth, right? They say you tell all sorts of stories.
I'm no mouth to you. My name is Denyek. Got that? What do people call you then? Bughead? Arseface?
I'm sorry, Stenyak. I'm Henry.
Pleased to meet you. But you were right about the stories. I could tell you stories so sad they'd make the devil cry. Or would you prefer something so scary it'll make the hairs on your ass turn white? But it's a lot of hard work for me. Now, if you had something to drink or a couple of groschen, that might help loosen my tongue.
To your health, my friend.
Thank you very much. I knew you wouldn't leave me high and dry. So what kind of story would you like to hear?
Tell me a sad story.
Wise choice. Nothing better than a nice tragedy. What's more, when people cry, they get thirsty. So then they need another drink, and sometimes buy me one too. So, once upon a time, there lived in these very lands 2 brothers. The older was called Kuba, the younger, Matthias. They were both woodcutters, like their father and his father before him. One day, at the height of summer, they were working in the woods. The air was as hot as a furnace, so Matthias went to a nearby pond to cool himself. But as he was leaning over the cold water, there was a loud splash. His axe had got loose from his belt. In haste, he began to search the muddy bed of the pond, and his hands soon touched something hard and heavy. He pulled it out and could not believe his eyes. He pulled out an axe. Yes, but not his old one. It was an axe made of pure silver.
Good God. I'd grab that without a second thought.
Maybe you would, but Matthias would never. He was an honest man, and with a big swing he threw the silver axe back. He searched the pond again, and this time he pulled out his own axe. Nothing but dull iron and old wood.
I reckon that was the right choice. Who knows who the silver axe belonged to?
Well, quite. Listen on. Matthias was just about to leave when suddenly a water goblin came out of the pond, silver axe in his hands, and he said, "You're a righteous man, Matthias, and for your honesty, you may keep both axes." Matthias, not hanging around for the goblin to change his mind, took up both axes, gave us thanks, and ran to tell Kuba all about it. Kuba, however, was not best pleased with his little brother's fortune. He deeply envied Matthias for his newfound wealth. So, he set out to try the same thing. He ran as fast as his legs could carry him straight to the pond, threw his own axe in, and began a pretend search for it. Yet Kuba had no luck. He pulled out the axe he'd thrown in himself. So he tried again. Tricked by sunlight, he grabbed something shiny, only to pull out his old iron axe again. Enraged, he hurled his axe back into the water and yelled, "Fuck this axe! I want a silver one." But the water goblin heard his shameful cry and was greatly upset by Kuba's greed. So, when Kuba reached down into the water for a third time, the water goblin seized his hand, pulled him down a hole to the dark depths, and drowned him.
All was as it should have been. It was Kuba's fault.
I don't think so. It seems Matthias didn't either. He went to the water goblin and begged for his brother's body so he could take him home and bury him. But the path back from the pond led over a steep hill, and carrying the weight of the waterlogged body exhausted Matthias. He stopped to rest by an old oak tree, and he used a silver axe to cut off a branch that would serve as a walking stick. But it wasn't enough. Somehow, it was still getting harder to continue up the hill. Then Matthias realized it wasn't his brother's body that was weighing him down. It was the silver axe. The axe was the cause of all this trouble. So he started bashing the silver axe against the big stone with all his might, trying to destroy it. Yet no matter what, he couldn't even make a dent. With the last of his strength, Matthias climbed to the top of the hill. He knew he could go no further, so he found a pretty spot with a view over the valley and dug his brother a grave. There, he buried both his brother and the silver axe that had brought such pain upon them. His final act was to stick the oak branch in the ground by the grave. But lo and behold, the branch grew green leaves and became a tree. The locals have had no dealings with the water goblin since then, but some have had the bad luck to bump into him. And when you walk by the pier, where it all happened, you can still hear his chuckling.
That was a very nice story.
Story? What story? It's the truth.
One beer, please.
Why hasn't anyone gone looking for the axe, then?
Because it brings misfortune. Didn't you listen to me at all? Look for yourself if you wish. Rock Tower Pond isn't far from here. The Water Goblin's pier is somewhere among the reeds. But leave me out of it. I'm fine here with my drink. Farewell.
I need something that'll put animals to sleep. Project said you might know something.
Well, it's true. I used a concoction that will put even a startled mare to sleep in no time. I once accidentally drank some and slept for 3 days. But the recipe is an old blacksmith's secret. The kind you don't just give away.
Wouldn't you tell a fellow blacksmith? My dad was a swordsmith, and I used to help him a lot.
But you didn't pay much attention, did you now? Otherwise, you'd know the recipe by now, and you wouldn't be asking me.
Well, I don't want it just for the sake of it. I need to use it against the Zhelyov lot.
So, Project and Olbram are at it again. Blockheads, both of them. And the place was just getting really nice and quiet lately. Well, what the hell. Maybe if I help you out, they'll start trading punches sooner and get it all over with. Pay up, and I'll tell you the secret.
Thank you.
So, did you want to make a deal or not?
Courage!
All right. Well, I'll manage without your help.
Farewell, my friend.
Jesus Christ be praised.
My friend.
Christ, what's the hold up?
God grant you help.
I'm here then. You said in the alehouse that you could do with a helping hand at the forge, didn't you?
I could. My last 2 hands, well, they're not worth mentioning. And what with the wedding coming up, the work is piling up. Ah, what's your name? Henry?
That's right.
You said something in the tavern about being a blacksmith's son, didn't you?
Aye, that's me. My father was a swordsmith, and not just any. He even forged swords for the nobility.
For the nobility, eh? Well, that kind of experience will come in very handy for me indeed. As it happens, I have to forge a wedding present for young Lord Semine. A fine sword.
So you'll take me on?
Hold your horses. I'll have to try you out first. You could forge me a hunting sword as a test, so I can see if you can make a straight blade. That shouldn't give you much trouble if your father was a swordsmith, should it?
Sure thing. I can get started right away.
Great. Find some iron and get started then.
Iron?
You can't make a sword out of butter, but if you don't have your own stuff, you can get everything from the chest in my forge. Well, my friend?
Ok, siamo riusciti ad arrivare finalmente dal fabbro. Adesso vediamo che cazzo mi dice di fare qua. Ok.
So hungry I could eat a horse.
Andate a fame.
So much dust. It still hurts. God bless you.
Get to it. I want to see how you'll fare.